Colorado voters were in much more of a yes mood than previously assumed regarding amendments and propositions. Propositions 106, 107, and 108 all won, in addition to Amendments 70 and 71. In fact, only Colorado Care and the increased cigarette tax were the only big campaign losers. Eric, this shocked me. I really thought this was going to be a no year. Anti-establishment usually means no on amendments. I can't remember, at least in recent history, when amendments and propositions had such a great night. Could you?
Not in a while. I mean, Colorado's one of these states, and now 71 will change that, but Colorado's been one of these states where it's easy to get to the starting line with these ballot measures, but hard to get to the finish line because voters sort them out and discern, and it's much easier to get no votes than yes votes, as we all know. I do think 107 and 108 in particular were anti-establishment votes. That was, let's shake up the apple cart, let's let independents into the game. Sorry about that pen. Let's shake up the apple cart, as I indicated. 71 was the one that somewhat surprised me, and I'd become outspoken on that in terms of that I thought it was absolutely the right intent, but maybe the wrong prescription. But that one was the ultimate establishment campaign, both in terms of what it was about, limiting voters' access to the ballot, and in terms of who was backing it and who was funding it. And yet it prevailed and prevailed handily, I don't know, 56, 57%, something like that. So if anything surprised me, not that it passed, but that it passed so easily, that might have been a surprise. Personally very happy to see 106, the medical aid and dying measure, pass. That became important to me just as a personal issue. So I was pleased with that, and the margin on Colorado Care. I know the headline the day after that they're coming back. You're coming back from 80-20. What are you going to do? Rewrite it a little bit and get 77-23?
That's progress.
Yeah, amen to that. Ben, how long do you think it'll take for Colorado voters to feel the effect of 71? Because that's a little inside baseball. It's amendments and signatures, all that kind of stuff. It seems to me it's going to take a while.
No, next election cycle.
Okay.
I think there's some initiatives and ideas that people were thinking of, and they look at 71 and they're saying, nope, we can't get it done now. We don't have the horses, we don't have the money, we don't have the people, we don't have the network. We can't float this amendment out. We can't get it approved in 30, all the counties in the state. So let's give her up.
And if it's a statute, it can be overturned or edited in the state legislature.
That's right. That's right. And I think that all of these ballot issues were actually sort of anti-establishment votes. I think 106, that's how I read that. 107, 108 clearly were anti-establishment. 70 was interesting because I think it tapped into what I was hearing nationally from some of these people who went with Trump. It's like, we've been ignored, we've been getting cheated in the short end of the stick financially, economically, other places are recovering, and I can't get over the juxtaposition of voting for a multi-bajillionaire when you're complaining about, wanting to raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour. But that's what happened. And so I think what you had was a number of working folks who said, a whole bunch of people have gotten their slice of the pie. We haven't. Doggone it. We're putting this in the Constitution. We're raising the minimum wage because we deserve an even shot here. And so I think that was even anti-establishment, anti-incumbent in sentiment. What's interesting is I think they're still counting the votes on the whole marijuana lounge thing in Denver. That's going to be an interesting thing to see how that shakes out also.
That's true. Patty, does John Elway return after this first successful foray into politics?
And smoke some pot and marijuana lounges? We'll see. What was interesting to me, and I was wrong on 71, which was one he was touting, because I thought there would be enough rebellion from voters about being told what they should be doing that they would want to preserve their right to change the Constitution as much as they did. So I was wrong there, but you could see where the rebellion came in 107, 108, and it was very specifically, I think, in response to the presidential candidates we had. They want changes at any level they can to ensure that maybe next time they have some presidential candidates they can really get behind.
Mike, wrap it up for us.
Well, obviously you see the Coloradans are more than willing to split the ticket when it comes to these ballots because it was all over the place. Amendment 71 didn't just make it more difficult for citizens to amend the Constitution. It just became nigh impossible for anyone unless you're willing to spend several $1 million on your signature gathering. What people a lot of people who voted for this might not realize is that one Senate district out of 35 can now kill something that the other 34 might want to get vote on. So basically 55% of Coloradans just denied themselves the ability to vote on things, which is hugely ironic. Although when you got $5-6 million in John Elway on your side, it's not hard to do things. The most gratifying part of that night was Amendment 72, which, and I was around for Amendment 35, and you worked on Amendment 35, and if they would have gone for a modest tax increase that had meaningful things attached to the money, I bet it would have passed, but they got greedy, they got stupid, and they took too big a bite at the apple, and they got shot down. It's nice to see tax increases get shot down. Thank you, Taxpayers' Bill of Rights.